Hey, I actually decided to go ahead and do my New Year's nails today, and I soaked them off. Actually, I started at 12:39 p.m. By 12:44, the right hand nails were all done. And yes, this is my right hand. It looks backwards to you, but my right hand nails were all done in 5 minutes. And then this one took longer because I had all that bling. I had extra layers of clear dip. I had glitter dip also on those nails. And I also had bling and sometimes glue. So I actually had a lot more layers going on this hand. It would have been done at 12:51, so from 12:39 to 12:51. But the one with the rhinestones on it, which was my pointer, it actually was really stubborn. The dip around, like where I put the glue and all that, and around the stones themselves, it took a while to get that off. So, but I've done a layer of clear. I wanted to do that off camera just to get it done really quick, and that way we can go right in with the black. I did a coffee filter repair. I left it. What I did was I took my glue, my brush and nozzle. I used the brush, Gorilla Glue brush and nozzle, and I put some glue on. I cut the shape of the coffee filter, just a plain coffee filter. I cut the shape out that I wanted, and I glued it right to my nail. You can look and see how it kind of, has like a slope there. And I didn't want to trim it down and put a tip on or anything like that. So I used a coffee filter. It's still a little bit flimsy, but as I dip with the Onyx and clear and all that, it's going to harden up a little bit more. So it has the glue, then it has clear dip over it. So I'm actually going to trim that off so that it's more like even with my natural nail. But I wanted to show you guys just a piece of coffee filter. And the trick is getting the shape, like particularly on the side. You can always deal with the top later when you go to file and stuff. But I'm actually going to trim that off. So that it is squared up with my natural nail. And when I'm done, you're not even going to be able to tell that there was a repair done. It's going to be awesome. So that is a little tip that I learned from some of the other girls. Again, we're doing Onyx, just plain black. Sorry about the camera, I just kicked my chair. I'm going to do my base coat. I already did the primer. I did the primer. Then I did base coat, and I dipped one time in clear just to give me that good solid base. It also preserves my color, and it gives me the added strength that I need. I'm probably going to end up doing 2 layers of the Onyx, and then whichever nails I decide to bling out, I will encapsulate in clear. I may do all of them in clear again, just to have even consistency as far as thickness and whatnot, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I'm going to do bling on all the nails or just my ring finger. And I was really kind of torn about whether to add a tip to that, because that's going to be my feature nail, and it's super short compared to the others. But I decided not to. I probably am going to regret that. But if I do, I can always go and fix it. Not a big deal. Just filing my dip a little bit. It's a little uneven right there on the side. So again, I'm going to do the base coat, and then I'm going to dip in the Onyx. And you can see, if you look at my Christmas nails, the right hand is the one that has that thumb that's a little janky. And you can see what I mean by it needed a repair, and I didn't want to cut it off because it was just that little dip on the side. And that's why I decided to repair it with the coffee filter. Going in at a 45-degree angle very gently because my dip container is very full and I don't want to get any of those weird ridges and stuff. You can also do the pour over method. Now, this is where I have to be really careful because this color is so black that I don't want to have a really jacked up cuticle line where it's all uneven and all over the place. So I've got to be really careful when I'm putting my base coat on not to get it all over my cuticles. Or just to make sure that it's nice and straight versus all messed up. And, you know, the black that's all over my finger, it washes off super easy. So we're not worried about that until the very end. I'm just dusting off my nails really quick to get rid of any excess powder. I also have some Happy New Year ribbons. I think I'm going to put Happy New Year on one nail and then do the flakes on the other nails. Other nails, plural. And this black is a really rich black. You see it's even just one layer. I can't even see through it, so I may not do 2 dips. I don't know. Let's see. Trying to be very deliberate with my base coat. Get it nice and even and not down on that cuticle. Say hey when you join me. What's everybody up to today? It's Saturday. My guys are outside doing something. And I'm in here. I decided to go ahead and do my New Year's Eve nails. Or New Year's nails. And I didn't even look to see if anybody had voted on, well, a couple of people did vote on. But I haven't seen what the consensus is. I'm going with what my daddy suggested. The silver flakes. This is as simple as painting with clear nail polish and then just dipping right in the powder. And then you're going to brush off the excess. Okay, there we go. I've got liquid coming through some of this, so I'm just gently laying my nail back in the top of that dip to soak all that liquid up. So more dip is adhering to my nails because of the wetness of that base coat coming through. And then I'm going to brush off the excess. Sorry, I hit the chair again. And I already see a couple of areas that I'm going to have to do some cleaning up. I also missed part of a nail. That corner right there, see that? That is why we go in with 2 layers usually, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna miss something. And then you see around my cuticles, it's on the sides. I tend to flood that cuticle sometimes. That Onyx is so heavily pigmented though, it gives really good coverage. I'm surprised that just 1 coat is sufficient. Okay, I can't file those till I activate them because it's still too wet. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break away that's on my skin, break it away from the nail. That way, when I activate, I can break it off. Yeah, I'm live. What's up, baby? I will as soon as I'm done. I figured since y'all were out there and quiet, I would go ahead and do this. Other words, not in my hair. Okay. See, that's breaking away perfectly so that when I go to file them, I can file it right off probably, or pick it off later. See? Is that fuzzy? I can't tell. And this metal cuticle pusher is the bomb. Like, I use this for everything. I scrape my invisible cuticle off my nail plate. If you've not heard me talk about that before, it's basically kind of like your nail exfoliating. And when you start scraping it, it'll flake really bad. And then once you get it all off, it'll stop. So you're not like actually scraping away your nail. You're scraping away, I guess, dead cells. I mean, even though your nails aren't living anyway, I don't think. But that gives me really good, that was the game changer for me from taking my mani from 5 to 7 days up to 30 days. It will last upwards of 30 days. Sometimes a smidge less, but the longest I've ever gone is 34 days. And that was the game changer for me, was scraping that invisible cuticle with this cuticle pusher. It's got that curved shape. So I just go around and, which I didn't do that this time. I completely forgot. I just went right in with primer. But even if these only last 7 days, that's fine, because I usually want to change them pretty frequently anyway. But I do like being able to go and not have to change them. So yeah, there's stuff on the sidewalls, pretty much on every finger, but we're going to fix that. It's not a big deal. It's easier if you can get away with not doing it, but I'm not that good of a painter, so. Again, I'm just breaking it away so there's like a separation between the actual nail and the sidewall where all the mess is, because that'll make it easier to get off. Because most likely activator will get on that. Yes. Okay, again, this was my coffee filter repair. Can you tell? You might be able to see it. I left it long, so at the beginning of the video you can see a lot better. And it's good. It's hardening a lot more. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just do my base coat and right into the black. It was just a little like break at the very tip of that nail on that one side. And I didn't want to cut it down and put a tip on or anything like that. And I did nothing to it for my Christmas nails. So you can go back and look at the photos of my plain red and green hand, my right hand, and you can see that okay, the problem is I've got I didn't get it glued down good on that one corner. So moisture can get in there, and that is not good, especially when dealing with a coffee filter. So I'm going to have to see if I can get base coat in there really well and then fill it with powder to create that seal. See what I'm talking about? It's not glued down all the way, the coffee filter part. So what I'm doing is I'm just running some base coat up in there. And then I'm going to dip right into the Onyx powder, and hopefully that's going to fill that in. I'm going to use my other thumb to kind of press it in while it hardens, and that way maybe it will meld together. All right, hopefully that's going to work. There's a piece of purple, I don't know how I got purple foil up here. I haven't used any of that since way earlier. My brush is actually getting a little wonky, so it's either time for a brush cleaner or to switch out to a new brush. Which that's a cool feature of our liquids, is that the brushes are interchangeable. We sell replacement brushes, and you can change the brush if it gets hard. So far so good. This one's going to need a little bit of filing because it's got a lot of product right there. Say hey when you join. If you're catching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. Okay. Almost done. Having to improvise a little bit because of that bristle sticking out on the side there. Like I say, I either need to clean my brush really well in the brush saver, or I need a new brush. I have plenty of replacement brushes, so that's not a big deal. I can just swap it out, which is probably what I'll end up doing. Hey girl, thanks for joining me. I'm doing good. How are you? Pamela. Do you go by Pam or Pamela? I remember you went by Pam in school, but I don't know if you're Pamela now. Again, I'm painting all wonky to compensate for that piece of brush sticking out. I actually haven't had to do anything to my brushes for quite a while, so no complaints there. That's why I say I probably just switch it out, because it probably wouldn't hurt since it's been so long. Okay, again, they're a little bit messy because I did get some base coat on the sides, and therefore it picked up the powder, but that's not a big deal. We can get that off later, so I'm not that worried about it. All right, now what do y'all think? Glitter on my ring finger only, and leave all the others plain black, or glitter on all of them? Oh, that one's still wet, so we're gonna just dip that right back in the powder. That will absorb all that wetness. Oops, several of these are. Let's do that really quick. I'm just laying it right down in the top of that dip powder to soak up all that extra liquid. That means I got plenty of base coat, and the dip powder is adhering really nicely. I tend to be a little heavy-handed with that stuff. Okay, so I actually think I'm just going to do the one layer of black. I don't think I'm going to do a second layer. And then I think I'll go over it with clear. I'm just going to separate my errors from my nail plate so that it doesn't bond together. That will enable me to clean it up better later once it's hard. This is the one I repaired with the coffee filter. You can't even tell. It's a little bulky where I had to add the extra powder in there because I didn't get the coffee filter part glued down very well on the one corner, but not a big deal, I don't think. I should be able to file it down. That pulled away really nicely. Dean, who's out there? Outside with your dad. I hear other voices.
It's probably just the dementia.
Okay, I glitter all of them girls, but yes. Celebrate good times. Yeah. Let's hope 2021 turns around for all of us and is a better year. I can't complain though, honestly. I mean, all my family made it through healthy.
It's the neighbors.
Okay, I thought it was other voices. I was trying to figure out who it was. All right, you know what? I'm going to activate. I don't want to mess up my actual nails. And this dip powder, it's pretty hard and stuff, but if I run a file over it, it'll scrape it right off. So we don't want that to happen. So I'm actually going to get my activator, my dark activator. This is the one I use for the dark colors. It's almost all gone. And I'm actually going to throw that cupcake liner away. And then I'm going to activate. And by the time I finish with my last nail, the first one should be dry or close to it. We only have 2 layers of dip to go through, so it's not that bad. The pigment in the Onyx solid is so dark, it discolors all the brushes. Can you see the black on that? Not a big deal, but that's the reason why I have one activator for dark colors and one for lights, because it will stain. Oh, I got a big bump in that one. I'm glad I saw that. These are really thin out on the tips, so I'm going to have to do a layer of clear whether I want to or not. Or another layer of black, which I don't think I need it, so I think I'll do the clear. That's got a bump in it too. Might need a couple layers of clear on that. They're pretty thin on the tips. If you get it thick enough, you will not have any chipping or breaking. I've dug in the yard. I've done all kinds of things with my nails and not had any problem. No lifting as long as you get it encapsulated really well, meaning on the tips as well as the whole nail. That way it creates that waterproof layer. Okay, these are still not quite dry enough. Actually sounds like these are drying faster, which is weird. So, see, I got good separation going on there with the mistake on the skin and the nail itself, so I can just file it right off. Oh, this is the one I didn't get all the way. I have to do that. I have to dip that one again. Okay, waiting for it to get a really good hard layer going on. The activator can take up to a couple minutes depending on several factors. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it dries like almost immediately, and sometimes it waits. And you get them also fast. Girl, that's what I was saying. The method that I use, I started soaking. Okay, this hand here is my right hand, and it had just the red and green dips. It had clear, 2 dips of clear and 2 dips of color, I believe. So 4 layers total, and it was just the red and green. This is the one with the bling and all the glitter and everything else, the little snowflakes and all that jazz. So this one took longer, but I went in at 12:39. By 12:44, all these were good to go. These took until 12:51, with the exception of this nail here. It's the one that had the rhinestones on it, and it had glue, and I had a couple of extra dips of clear to encapsulate those rhinestones so they wouldn't pop off. So this one would have been done at 12:51. So what is that? 39 to 51. So that's 10, 11, 12 minutes. Not bad at all, right? And then it took a little bit longer because of that one nail with the rhinestones. And then I filed them, prepped them. I actually missed a step in my prepping, so I'm anxious to see how long these are going to last. I may just let them go until they start lifting, just to see, because I forgot to file away my invisible cuticle. Okay, these are almost ready to file. These are, so I'm going to go ahead and start on these actually. It's actually about time for a new file too. My file is really dull. Let me see if I've got a better one handy. Oh yeah, this one's got more grit in it. But yeah, we learned some tips and tricks about how to soak them off super fast. So that has been most helpful, because that's the one thing I hate is soaking off. And you don't have to soak them off. You can file them off manually. You can file them off with an e-file or whatever, but soaking is the quickest way. But if you have tips on, you don't want to soak off in acetone because that'll eat the tips off. You want to either manually file it off or you want to e-file. But I've got to where most of the time I just soak them off and start over anyway, because that gives me a nicer, just a nicer everything. And I'm getting better with my shaping and filing. This is when you find out if it's even or not. If you look, see how it all looks matte, and then there's a couple of darker black shiny spots. Those are like where the bumps are. So this gives you a good smooth surface by filing after you dip and activate. And then we can go in with more layers after if we need to or want to. Yeah, I did the black at Halloween also, and I did a color we have called Radioactive. It's like a neon green, and it actually turned out so pretty. I actually didn't think I'd be a fan of that Radioactive. My kids picked that color for me one time. I think they were both being jerks, but they both picked the color, so I ended up doing an accent nail with it, and I actually fell in love with it. And I ended up doing my toes the same color. Okay, if you go back and look at my Christmas dips, the red and green on the right hand, you'll see this thumb where it had the dip in it on the side, like it was broken. And I repaired that with a coffee filter. I used just a piece of regular coffee filter and glued it to my nail to square it up so that I didn't have to cut my natural nail down and put a tip on. Can you dip? Yes, you can. I was actually shocked because I can't reach my toes very well, like to paint or whatever, so they always came out looking so bad. Like, I kid you not, I actually paint like a 5-year-old because I can't get the angle right and everything. So I had put it off for a while. Well, then I decided to go ahead and try it. And I'm sitting there, and I was sitting in a dining chair, and I had my foot on another dining chair, And I had just a paper plate, like a styrofoam plate. And then I had the cupcake liner and then the dip container inside. So I was holding my foot up above all of this, and I would paint it with the clear, and then I took, well, this one's broke, but you get the gist. A fake nail, or you could use a small like cocktail spoon or anything like that, and I would scoop the powder and pour over the nail, and you can touch it if you need to like pack it down just a smidge. But yeah, I did it like that, and it was so super easy. I had to stop in the middle, and I told Dean, come film me doing this. It's on my YouTube channel if you want to see it. But it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be, that I was like, I'm sad I waited so long to dip my toes, because it was so super easy. And it lasts forever, because on your toes, for me, nail polish chips like within a day or so. And I would even get gel polish sometimes in Florida there when I would get my nails done. And the gel polish, is this my bad file? This one don't have a lot of grit in it. Let me switch to another file. But it would chip pretty much right away. And I hated that, because I didn't like paying for pedicures just for the polish to chip relatively soon after. Even the gel polish, you know, the kind you harden under the light. But this stays on forever. I'm bad about picking at it though, because I get it on my cuticles, and it's weird. So I pick at it sometimes, but I still have dip on my toes from when I did it before. And that's been, gosh, I don't even remember. It's on my timeline, on my Facebook wall, because I took pictures of it. I dipped with Pole Dancer. And I still have it on there, but I do need a fresh one. But here in Coldville, we can't wear sandals anyway, so nobody sees my toes except my family. So honestly, it'll probably be more like spring before I even bother. But yeah, I love that you can do your toes too, because it creates that really hard layer, and it lasts forever, and yeah, it's awesome. And it's so fun to change colors. Our colors, I'm telling you, our colors are gorgeous. There was a few I ordered that on the website, I was just kind of like, oh, those are nice. Okay, I'll get that. And then when I got it and saw it in person, I was like blown away. Nomad was one of them. It's a brown, and I'm not really a brown person, but it's got the most beautiful shimmer in it, as well as Sangria Sparkle was another one that looks so much prettier in person than it does on the website. Most of them look prettier in person than they do on the website. It's hard for them to get photos of it. I learned just to paint them, let them dry for an hour or more, and wash off the skin, so it then looks good. Yeah, that's actually the way to do it. If you, that's how I would do it too. But and it probably has to do with my oily skin and nails. Like, that's one reason why some people have problems with the dips adhering to their nails for an extended period of time, is because of their oily skin. Like I say, when I started scraping away the invisible cuticle with this metal cuticle pusher that we sell, that was a game changer for me. That made my manicure go from like 7 to 10 days, 5 to 7 days, up to 34 was my record. And only then I had like 3 start to lift. And so I just decided to go ahead and fix the whole set rather than just repair 3 that are lifting. Must be bored. Heating up leftovers. I'm ready to get into the leftovers myself. My husband had some for breakfast, but I haven't eaten today because I don't usually eat very early. What time is it here? 2:08. It's actually much later. I usually eat around noon or 1. But that's what I'm going to be doing, girl, as soon as I'm done with these nails. Okay, see, that's one problem with only one layer of the Onyx, is that when you file, you actually end up filing some of the color off. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to file and get a really good, smooth, even surface, and then I'm going to do another base coat and dip in black again so that it looks good. Well, I was going to wait to do my New Year's Eve nails, or New Year's nails, a little closer to the first of the year, but my husband and son are outside piddling around doing stuff outside. So I said, you know what? I can do them now. Because honestly, the red and green was kind of messing with me. I'm not one that normally does multiple color nails. I think that's weird. But it's been fun because I know I can change them anytime I want if it's bugging me, so I play around. I started to do like French with the black and the pink base, which I'll probably do later, but this time I decided to go full black. But I did think about the other. Bubby, what y'all doing?
We're moving trucks.
Why?
Well, Daddy wanted to park his better, and we're gonna try and fix it for the back.
Oh, cool. Plus, like I say, they're really thin out towards the tip, which can cause cracking and breaking. So dipping in another layer of black will be a good thing. And that's the thing. You can activate file and buff, and if you see that you need more color, you can just go back in with base coat right over it and dip as many times as you need. I normally do 4 layers, sometimes 5, depending on if I'm encapsulating with clear. If it's a glitter, I usually do a layer of clear on top. If it's a solid, I do not. I don't really feel like you need it if it's a solid. That's just me personally. Some people like to encapsulate all theirs with clear. Personal choice. The glitter, though, when you put the glitter dips on and you go to file them, you can actually file the color right off the glitter, which is why I always go over it with clear, because that gives you that surface that you can file and buff without rubbing any of your color off. Okay, this is the boring part. This is the part that takes the longest, and usually I'm a lot faster because I'm more focused on what I'm doing. Now I'm chit-chatting and kind of distracted. I can usually do a set in 20 to 30 minutes if I sit down and just go straight at it. But let's see, I've already been live. How long? 37 minutes now. And I did a lot of it off screen. So with the layer of clear and yeah, see, I've already filed a little bit of the black off on that corner. So definitely gonna have to base coat and more black. But the shape of them is looking good. There's a bump in that one, I can see it. That was something I had to learn because when I first started doing my nails, there was a lot of stuff I didn't know and I didn't know what to look for. So they would come out looking a little jacked up. There, you can look at some of my first pictures and see that my technique has greatly improved. Just practice. Some people right out of the gate look like they walked out of the salon. Some of us need a little more grace. So not a big deal at all though. Because they're at home, you know, you can practice anytime. You can practice on swatches. You can practice on your own personal nails. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily take that long, but I have learned a lot of tips and tricks along the way that I share with my customers. See, I had to file that off because there was a bump there, so I had to file down through the black. So one layer is not a good thing. Even though there's a lot of pigment in here, and color-wise I could have got away with one layer, that second layer is just going to give you that full coverage and keep you from filing through it. And you can always go over your color with clear too before you do your filing. That's totally up to you. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to do this side. These are going to look really good. I wish I had pink foil flakes like in that picture, the first picture on that post I made, because I loved the way that looked together. But I'm going to be ordering some, so at some point I'll be able to do that. I'll probably do some kind of awesome nail design for my 50th birthday, which is in February. Maybe black and pink then. How's that? You know, I was just talking with a friend of mine here in the neighborhood, and we were talking about birthdays and, you know, being razzed by turning a certain milestone age or whatever. And it's so weird that 40 and 50, neither one have bothered me a bit, but 30 hit me broadside. I didn't expect it at all. It hit me broadside, and I don't know. I don't know what it was about turning 30. It was kind of depressing, I guess. Like, I went through a funk about it. Like, it was weird. I didn't expect it. I figured 40 would be the one that really sent me into a tizzy. And after I went through that in my, you know, with hitting 30, I said, good Lord, how am I going to be at 40? This is not good. 40 didn't bother me a bit. It's strange. And 50 is not bothering me. Like, I'm ready to skid in sideways and rock the decade. But I tell you, one thing I will say is time sure does fly. That's been the thing that has surprised me the most, is how fast time flies. It seems like things are going slow when you're in your 30s and that you got all the time in the world, and then before you know it, you wake up and it's been 20 years. It's a little crazy. Okay, I'm loving the shape of these. This hand is so much better. I do wish that wasn't so short. That's probably going to end up bugging me, and I'm probably going to have to go back and make it longer, which if I do that with that one, I would end up cutting it short and putting a tip on. Not trying to fix it with a coffee filter. But again, coffee filter repair, can you tell? I don't think you can tell. And it actually filled in really nicely over here, you know, where I said it wasn't glued down properly. So when I go in with that second coat of black, it's going to be even better. Nice and smooth. Where'd I leave? Oh, I'm on this hand, ain't I? Yeah, these are definitely gonna need another dip of Onyx. The longest that I've had mine go is 34 days. And like I say, when they started to, I had 3 lift within just a few hours of each other. And when I say lift, they just got loose is all it was. But rather than try to repair those, I knew that I was pushing it already. So I went ahead and soaked them off. So 34 days is my record. When I first started, it was 5 to 7 days. 7 to 10 days, something like that. And the reason for that is because I have very oily skin. So I had to figure out that I needed to prep my nail plate better in order to make them adhere better. And there's several tips and tricks we have for that. Like if anybody has problems with getting them to last longer than a couple of weeks, like 14 days is kind of what we go for. And if you're going 14 days, you're doing great. If it's less than that, there's tips and tricks we can do that may help prolong it. Some people just, it's difficult. But like I say, for me, scraping that nail plate was the game changer. And most of my manis are 20 plus days, with that one being the record of 34 days. And for me, my nails are paper thin. They're super, super thin. So I could never do regular polish or even gel polish. I tried gel polish when it came out. And the shellac, remember the shellac in the early 2000s? I tried that. It didn't work because my nails are so super thin. So for me, all I could ever do to have nails was either, well, it was basically acrylic. I was going to say, or fake nails from the drugstore, but those would pop off of me in like 2 or 3 days max, usually same day. But if I got them good and glued down, they might last a couple of days. But usually the water, like taking showers and whatnot and working outside or in the dishwater or whatever, would make them lift. So I didn't do that a whole lot because to me it was a waste of money. And so I would go, if I wanted my nails done, I had to go to the nail shop and have acrylics done. But this, because you're doing thin layers of base and then you're doing dip over top, and you do as many layers of that base dip as you need, you can make them as thick as you need. And for me, most of the girls do 3 to 4 layers, and I figured I'd need 5 or 6, but I don't. 3 to 4 is sufficient for me, even with super paper thin nails. So this has been a super awesome investment. Granted, I've spent too much money on colors this year, but if I would have done like I should have and just ordered like 1 or 2 dip kits, cost-wise, I'd be in the black already because fills out here are not cheap at all. And I loved my nail tech. She was great. I had no complaints whatsoever, except that she ran out of my favorite color too frequently. I had this one go-to color, and apparently everybody else in town liked it too, and it would run out. That's the only complaint I could ever say that I had about her. And she actually a couple times made a special trip to go get my color, telling me, I know you're coming tomorrow. I'm going to get your color tonight, which is awesome. I just loved her to pieces. And I loved my nail tech in Florida too. But a $65 dip will do approximately 32 manicures, 32 full sets. And I say approximately because what that depends on is A, how long your nails are, B, how many layers you do, C, let's see, what other factors, how long they are, how many layers you dip, and how frequently you do. Well, frequency is not going to matter. It's still going to give you the same number. But yeah, length of your nails and how many dips you do per manicure is going to influence how many full sets you actually get out of it. So the investment, that's what made me do it, because honestly I didn't think it would work for me, because like I say, I've tried many different things and nothing ever worked. So I always ended up going back to the nail shop if I wanted my nails done. And so knowing that I could sign up, I signed up as a consultant right away because, first of all, I needed something, and I knew I was going to at least be doing it while the salons were closed, because that's when I signed up, was when the salons shut down, and I didn't have a choice. It was either don't have nails or do something different. So I went ahead and signed up as a consultant, but had I done it as a customer, I probably would have signed up as a consultant too. But, you know, either way, you're saving money versus going to the salon. And the fun thing about it is you can change your color anytime. I've come down here at 11 or 12 o'clock at night and done my nails just because I couldn't sleep, or just got a whim and thought, ooh, my nails would look good this color. Let's go down there and change them. That's the one thing I love. Or if, you know, occasionally I would have a nail lift or break or something, and you have to make an appointment and go by the nail shop and have it fixed, and until then you have to deal with it, etc., etc. Whereas if you've got everything at home and you're doing them at home, you can fix it right away. And there's been times that I've been busy and I have broken or popped a nail off or something, and I would simply stop what I was doing and run in here really quick and do like 2 quick dips of clear or 2 quick dips of whatever color I was wearing, and then go back and activate it, and then do just like 1 top coat, and then go back to whatever I was doing, and then later come back and like file it down and like actually finish. So, because if I pop a nail off and I've got my nails underneath, did I show y'all? I don't think I took a picture of my nails either. Well, these are all my natural nails except for, I think they're all mine except for the coffee filter repair. Yeah, they're all mine. These are all my natural nails. And if I popped a nail off and I try to do anything, I mean, go to the bathroom, fix something to eat, whatever, I'm going to tear my natural nail. That's how thin it is. It's like paper. And if they get wet, even worse. So, yeah, there's no way. Golly, I'm sorry. I'm like gibbering up a storm like I'm talking to a room full of people. All right. I don't remember if I brushed these off. All right, so I'm gonna go back in with my base coat. And cap the ends, which means just put some dip right there along the free edge. That way some powder will adhere to it. And it creates a solid layer to keep water from getting up in there. And that helps to prolong your nails. And I'm kind of laying my nail down in the dip. I don't know if you can tell. We're supposed to go in at a 45-degree angle, but when it's super full like this one is, it tends to like, for me, it tends to like push the, probably because I get my base coat a little bit thicker than I should, but it pushes that base coat back and creates almost like a little bump there at the cuticle area. And, so by laying my nails down in the dip powder, I avoid that. It's better to do several layers of thin base coats and dips rather than thick. You don't want to get it thick because then it gets like globby and, well, it just doesn't come out as good. It definitely looks better when you have thin layers. And this has actually helped me grow my nails out. I mean, if I have acrylic on, they'll grow too. But my nails are much healthier. All of our products are what they call 9-free, which apparently there's like 9 really bad chemicals that are in many nail products, and ours do not have it. So I found that out later, so that's just an extra benefit, that we do not have those nasty chemicals in there. Makes for a healthier nail. Hey, I'm live.
No.
What are
She's fine.
y'all doing? Did he need to say something?
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know.
Tell him to text me. I'll see a banner come up. It won't interfere. He could talk to me. Unless it's something that you don't want the masses hearing, because I have a whole, like, no people on here right now. Or at least it's not registering that I have anybody. Okay. Okay, just that quick. And again, these are the ones I'm fixing to do. You see how I filed through that? On the edges, it's a little bit, but then, and some of these were the same way. But then when you dip that second layer, you get nice, full coverage. Okay. Again, capping those ends. I'm going to go and finish this hand. I'm going to find out what they wanted, and then I will go back on when I go to do my designs. Okay?